Welcome back to my channel, Pocket Change Coins. If you're excited about finding hidden gems in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we're going to uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're focusing on a coin that many might overlook as just pocket change, the United States 5-cent coin from 2005, minted in Denver. But trust me, this coin has a fascinating story to tell and could be worth a lot more than its face value. If you've ever wondered about the hidden worth of your everyday coins, stick around because you're in for an eye-opening ride. Let's start with the background. The 2005 D nickel is part of the Jefferson Nickel series, a coin series that has been circulating since 1938. This coin pays tribute to Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, a man whose ideas helped shape the nation. His image graces the obverse, or front side, of the coin, showing his distinguished profile looking confidently ahead. On the reverse, you'll find the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, rendered in fine detail. This combination not only honors history but also symbolizes American ideals of freedom, innovation, and resilience. In 2005, the U.S. Mint produced millions of nickels in Denver alone to meet everyday demands. Because so many were made, you might think that the 2005 D nickel wouldn't hold much value beyond its standard 5 cents. But here's where things get interesting. The world of coin collecting is all about rarity, condition, and unique features, and that's where certain 2005 D nickels shine. First, condition is king. The vast majority of these nickels have been in circulation, which means they show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, dings, and a dull finish. Such damage reduces their value to little more than face value. However, if you are lucky enough to find a 2005 D nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition, one that has been stored carefully away from harm, it becomes a rare find. Uncirculated coins retain their original luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces, making them highly attractive to collectors who value such perfection. Then, we come to an even more thrilling aspect of coin collecting: mint errors. The minting process, although highly controlled, isn't perfect. Occasionally, errors occur, creating coins with doubled images, off-center strikes, or unique metal flaws. The 2005 D nickel is no exception. Certain error coins from this year have become extremely rare and are hunted after because their uniqueness makes them irreplaceable. These error nickels stand out as anomalies in an otherwise perfectly produced batch, and collectors pay top dollar for them. Moreover, the 2005 D nickel is significant because it marks a period of transition for the U.S. Mint. It represents a modern era of minting technology and craftsmanship but still carries a design that connects to the past. Holding a well-preserved coin from this year is like holding a piece of history, a tangible link to the American story and the evolution of its currency. For those who might not be as familiar with coin collecting, the value of coins like the 2005 D nickel can be surprising. It's not just about the metal content. Since nickels are primarily made of copper and nickel, their metal value is modest. Instead, the collector's market is driven by rarity and condition. Coins that are scarce or have special features can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Now, after all this build-up, here's the big reveal. A 2005 D nickel, if it's in flawless, uncirculated condition, and especially if it has a significant minting error, could fetch an astonishing $40,000 in today's collector's market. Yes, you heard that right, $40,000 for a coin that typically would be worth just 5 cents. It's incredible to think that something so small and so common in daily life could hide such value. This is what makes coin collecting such a fascinating hobby, the thrill of discovering that the ordinary can be extraordinary. So, if you have a 2005 D nickel lying around, don't toss it aside without checking its condition. Take a closer look, maybe get it appraised, and who knows? You might be holding a valuable treasure. Second rare coin, we're zooming in on a fascinating piece of American history, the United States 5-cent coin from the year 1972. This might seem like an ordinary nickel, but as we dig deeper, you'll see why this small coin can hold a huge amount of value and why it deserves your attention. Stick around until the very end because the final value of this 1972 nickel might just blow your mind. Let's start by putting the 1972 nickel into its historical context. The early 1970s in America were a time of great social change and economic challenges. From the Vietnam War's winding down to shifts in cultural movements and an economy battling inflation, coins from this era are not just currency, they're pieces of a pivotal chapter in U.S. history. The Jefferson Nickel, which features Thomas Jefferson's profile on the front and his beloved Monticello estate on the back, had been in circulation for decades by 1972, symbolizing American heritage and endurance. What makes the 1972 nickel particularly interesting is that while millions were minted that year, certain varieties and minting nuances create a fascinating landscape for collectors. The United States Mint produced nickels at 3 different facilities in 1972, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But the Denver Mint version, which is what we're focusing on today, holds some unique attributes that can dramatically affect its value. Condition is always a huge factor in coin collecting. While most 1972 nickels you'll find were circulated, meaning they've been handled, spent, and show signs of wear like scratches and faded details, a select few remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. These coins maintain their original luster, sharp design details, and smooth surfaces, making them highly prized by collectors who seek coins as close to mint condition as possible. Now, let's talk about something that makes the 1972 nickels even more exciting: mint errors and varieties. Occasionally, during the minting process, errors happen. These might include double dyes, where design elements appear doubled, off-center strikes, or even differences in the metal composition or finish. These mistake coins are rarer and highly sought after because they're one-of-a-kind anomalies that stand out in the sea of perfectly minted coins. The 1972 Denver nickel has some notable varieties that can catch a collector's eye and fetch significantly higher prices. One example is the 1972 D double die obverse variety. In this version, you can actually see a doubling effect on the inscriptions or even on Jefferson's portrait itself. This doubling occurred due to misalignment during the die creation process, making these coins instantly recognizable and much more valuable. Collectors love these kinds of varieties because they represent a fascinating glitch in the minting process, a tangible error frozen in time. It's also worth mentioning that the 1972 nickel features a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a standard that has remained for decades. Unlike some coins whose metal value can influence market price, the value of this nickel comes predominantly from its rarity and condition in the collector's market. So, what about value? For most people, a 1972 nickel might just be worth its face value of 5 cents. However, if you're holding one in superb condition, especially one with a notable mint error or rare variety, you're potentially looking at a coin worth far more. These collector coins can fetch prices far above what you'd expect, particularly if they come certified and graded by professional services that verify their condition and authenticity. And here comes the exciting part: a 1972 Denver Mint nickel, especially one with a prominent mint error or in flawless uncirculated condition, could be worth a staggering $81,000 today. That's right, $81,000 for a coin that might otherwise seem like everyday pocket change. This remarkable value highlights why coin collecting isn't just about money, it's about history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. It's about holding a piece of the past in your hands, one that tells a story of craftsmanship, accident, and time. So next time you come across a 1972 nickel, don't just pass it by. Take a closer look, maybe have it appraised by a professional, and who knows? You might be sitting on a small fortune waiting to be discovered. Third expensive coin, we're turning our attention to an intriguing coin from the late 20th century, the United States 5-cent coin from the year 1979. This nickel might look like an everyday coin, but once you hear the full story and learn about its unique characteristics, you'll realize it could be worth way more than just 5 cents. So, settle in and stay tuned as we explore the history, design, rarity, and ultimately, the value of this remarkable coin. Let's start by setting the stage. The year 1979 was a vibrant time in America. The country was navigating economic challenges like inflation and energy crises, but also experiencing cultural shifts and technological progress. Coins from this period reflect a snapshot of everyday American life, with the Jefferson nickel continuing to be a staple in wallets across the nation. Featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Monticello estate on the reverse, the nickel symbolizes the enduring legacy of one of America's founding fathers. At first glance, the 1979 nickel might appear quite common. Millions were minted that year across different U.S. mint facilities, primarily Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver mint version is particularly notable for collectors because of a few rare varieties and minting quirks that occurred during production. These quirks turn an otherwise common coin into a sought-after collector's item. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1979 nickel is the existence of error coins from this year. Errors can happen during the minting process for a variety of reasons, including misaligned dies, double dies, or incorrect metal compositions. Collectors often prize these error coins because they represent unique accidents in the minting process, making each one a limited edition of sorts. In 1979 nickels, double die obverse varieties are especially prized. These coins show a noticeable doubling effect in the inscriptions or in Jefferson's portrait, making them stand out immediately to an expert's eye. Beyond error coins, the condition of the coin is a huge factor in its value. Most 1979 nickels you come across have been circulated, meaning they show wear, scratches, and fading. However, finding a 1979 nickel in mint or uncirculated condition, still shiny, with crisp details and no signs of wear, is becoming increasingly difficult as time passes. These high-grade coins are incredibly desirable to collectors because they preserve the coin's original beauty and craftsmanship. The metal composition of the 1979 nickel is also worth noting. Made of a copper-nickel blend, 75% copper and 25% nickel, it doesn't have much intrinsic metal value compared to precious metal coins, so its worth comes almost entirely from rarity, condition, and the presence of any minting errors. In other words, this coin's value lies in its collectability rather than the value of its raw materials. Now, here's the part every coin collector is eager to hear about: what is the actual value of a 1979 nickel? If you have a standard circulated 1979 nickel, it might only be worth its face value or a few cents above that to collectors. But if you own a 1979 Denver nickel with a notable double die error or one that has been professionally graded and certified in pristine condition, the value can increase dramatically. Collectors who specialize in error coins and rare varieties have paid top dollar for some exceptional specimens of the 1979 nickel. And it's not just a few hundred or a few $1,000s we're talking about here. This particular coin, when it ticks all the boxes, rare minting variety, flawless condition, and certification, can be worth an astounding $74,000. That's right, $74,000 for a coin most people wouldn't give a second glance. This incredible value highlights how coins can be hidden gems, waiting to be discovered in your loose change, old collections, or even forgotten drawers. The 1979 nickel is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and minting quirks combine to create something truly valuable. So, if you find yourself holding a 1979 United States nickel, take a closer look. Examine it under a magnifying glass, check for doubling or unusual features, and consider having it appraised by a professional coin grader. You might be holding a treasure worth more than you ever imagined. Especially, we're diving into the fascinating world of American coinage with a close look at a piece that might seem ordinary but holds extraordinary value: the United States 5-cent coin from 1985, minted in Philadelphia. You might think a nickel from the mid-80s is just pocket change, but hold on, because this particular coin carries a history and rarity that could surprise even the most seasoned collectors. So, stick around as we explore the story behind the 1985 Philadelphia nickel, its design, the secrets of its minting, and, most importantly, its astonishing value in today's collector's market. The mid-1980s were an interesting time for the U.S. Mint. The economy was recovering from earlier recessions, and coin production was booming to meet everyday demands. The 1985 nickel, like many others, featured the timeless Jefferson design, Thomas Jefferson's dignified profile on the front and his beloved Monticello estate on the back. These iconic images have been a staple since 1938, connecting us with American heritage and history. But despite their common appearance, certain nickels from this era have become hot commodities because of rare errors or unique minting conditions. When it comes to the 1985 Philadelphia nickel, its intrigue lies mostly in its rarity and the potential mint errors that exist in some specimens. While millions of these coins were produced, only a few have survived in pristine condition or with the kinds of imperfections that collectors highly prize. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks make specific 1985 nickels stand out. These flaws, though accidental, add an exclusive layer of value to what would otherwise be a very common coin. What's particularly fascinating about the 1985 Philadelphia nickel is how few have managed to escape heavy circulation with their details intact. Due to the coin's copper-nickel composition and frequent use in everyday transactions, most show signs of wear and tear, dulling the intricate details of Jefferson's profile and the Monticello building. Collectors search far and wide for coins that still have their original mint luster, coins that look like they just came off the press decades ago. Such uncirculated coins command much higher prices because they preserve the artistry and quality the mint intended. Another captivating aspect is the existence of what's known as the proof or special mint set versions of the 1985 nickel. These coins were struck with extra care, intended for collectors, and often feature sharper details and mirror-like finishes. Finding one of these in perfect condition, especially with any minting anomalies, can significantly boost its market value. You might be wondering, what does this all mean in terms of actual cash value? Well, a typical 1985 Philadelphia nickel in circulated condition is worth just a bit more than its face value, nothing extraordinary. But, for those rare specimens that have retained their mint condition, or for those that show special error characteristics, the story changes dramatically. These coins can fetch serious money from collectors who understand their significance. In fact, some of the best preserved 1985 Philadelphia nickels, especially those with unique mint errors or those professionally graded at the highest levels, have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. If you happen to own one of these rare gems, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $85,000. Yes, $85,000 for a coin that most people would casually toss into a jar. This incredible value underscores the magic of coin collecting, that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, and history can be held in the palm of your hand. The 1985 Philadelphia nickel is a shining example of how condition, rarity, and minting quirks combine to create extraordinary worth. So next time you find yourself sorting through coins, or if you come across a 1985 nickel, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look for signs of mint condition, errors, or unusual features. It might just be the key to unlocking a fortune. Next coin, we're zooming in on a legendary piece from the United States Mint, the 5-cent coin from 1964, minted in Denver. At first glance, it might look like any regular nickel, but don't be fooled, this coin has a rich history and can be worth a staggering amount. So, sit tight as we dive into the origins, unique features, and the incredible value of the 1964 D nickel. The year 1964 was a pivotal one for the United States, both economically and historically. It was a year marked by rapid growth and social change. This was the last year before the U.S. Mint ceased production of silver in its coins, a fact that adds an extra layer of significance to this particular nickel. The 1964 D nickel is part of the Jefferson series, which has graced the 5-cent coin since 1938. Featuring the dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his iconic Monticello estate on the back, this design pays tribute to one of America's founding fathers. What truly sets the 1964 D nickel apart from others is its silver content. Prior to 1965, nickels were composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, but the 1964 D also has versions with a small percentage of silver, a rare variation that collectors obsess over. Additionally, there are error coins and minting anomalies from this year that have become the holy grail for numismatists. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and coins with die cracks, which are rare minting mistakes that can skyrocket a coin's value. another factor contributing to the 1964 D Nickels fame is its condition scarcity. Many of these coins were heavily circulated, meaning they show signs of wear and tear from decades of use. But those few that have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition are prized beyond measure. A well-preserved 1964 D nickel captures all the intricate details of Jefferson's profile and Monticello's architecture, shining with the original mint luster, a true delight for collectors and investors alike. Collectors often turn to professional grading services to verify the authenticity and condition of their coins. High-grade examples of the 1964 D nickel, especially those that are certified as mint state or proof, command astronomical prices at auctions and private sales. This is because the rarity of flawless specimens combined with historical significance makes them extremely desirable. The demand for this coin has only grown as the years have passed, partly due to the scarcity of silver coins and partly because of the captivating story behind the coin's production during a transformative period in American history. Owning a 1964 D nickel in top condition isn't just about having a piece of currency, it's about holding a piece of America's heritage. Now, let's talk about the exciting part, the coin's market value. While most nickels from the 1960s are worth only a few cents or a couple of dollars in circulated condition, a perfect 1964 D nickel with rare error characteristics can be worth a truly jaw-dropping sum. The most exceptional specimens have been known to sell for as much as $200,000. Yes, $200,000 for a single nickel that carries decades of history and rarity. This incredible value highlights the magic of numismatics, where ordinary coins become extraordinary treasures based on history, rarity, and condition. If you find yourself lucky enough to hold one of these rare 1964 D nickels, it could be one of the most valuable items in your collection. Now, we're diving into the story of a fascinating coin from the United States Mint, the 5-cent coin from 1985, minted in Denver, commonly referred to as the 1985 D nickel. At first glance, it might seem like just another piece of everyday currency, but this particular coin holds a surprising secret that has made it a prized possession among collectors worldwide. Stick around as we explore the history, design, rarity, and the incredible worth of this remarkable coin. The year 1985 was a time of steady economic growth in the United States, and the coinage reflected a nation continuing to build on its history while facing the modern world. The 1985 D nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, a design that's been a staple of the nickel since 1938. Jefferson's image is paired on the reverse side with the iconic Monticello estate, an architectural symbol of his legacy and American heritage. While the design itself might seem standard, subtle details in the minting process during this year have created rare varieties and errors that spark immense interest. What makes the 1985 D nickel so intriguing is not just its design but the existence of rare mint errors and limited mintages that collectors hunt for. Among these, error coins such as double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks have surfaced, each telling a unique story about the coin's creation. Such errors occur during the minting process when something goes slightly off track, whether it's the alignment of the dies or an issue with the striking pressure, resulting in a coin that's truly one of a kind. These errors elevate the coin from ordinary currency to a collectible gem. In addition to error varieties, the 1985 D nickel's value is heavily influenced by its condition. While many circulated coins can be found easily, those that have been preserved in mint or near mint condition are incredibly rare. A coin that shines with its original luster, with sharp details of Jefferson's profile and Monticello's architectural features, holds significantly more value than a worn-down counterpart. Collectors seek out these pristine examples for their collections and investment portfolios alike. Over the years, professional grading services have become essential in certifying the authenticity and condition of coins like the 1985 D nickel. A high-grade certification can propel the coin's market value dramatically, as buyers feel confident in the coin's quality and rarity. This assurance is vital in a market where even small differences in condition can mean thousands of dollars in value. The demand for the 1985 D nickel has steadily increased, especially among collectors specializing in error coins and 20th-century U.S. coinage. This demand, combined with the rarity of well-preserved specimens, has contributed to a steady rise in the coin's worth over the decades. It's a beautiful example of how something as small as a 5-cent piece can carry a story of craftsmanship, history, and chance. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for, the value reveal. A flawless, certified 1985 D 5 cents coin, especially one exhibiting rare mint errors or exceptional condition, can command an astonishing price of $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a coin that most people might overlook as just pocket change. This coin exemplifies the thrill and potential of coin collecting, where patience, knowledge, and a keen eye can uncover treasures worth fortunes. So, if you happen to stumble across a 1985 D nickel in remarkable condition or one with a fascinating mint error, you could be holding a coin worth a small fortune. Last unique coin, we're turning our attention to one of the newest additions to the world of United States coinage, the 5 cents coin from 2023, minted in Denver, widely known as the 2023 D nickel. At first glance, it may seem like just a regular coin meant for everyday transactions. However, beneath its modern exterior lies a story that's capturing the interest of numismatists everywhere. So, get comfortable as we explore the background, design, rarity, and the surprising value this seemingly ordinary nickel can hold. The year 2023 marked a fresh chapter in U.S. coin production, featuring subtle design updates and continuing the rich tradition of honoring American history and culture through its currency. The 2023 D nickel carries forward the classic image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, a design that has been cherished since it was first introduced in 1938. Opposite Jefferson, the reverse side features Monticello, his beloved Virginia estate, a timeless symbol of American heritage. But what makes the 2023 D nickel truly interesting are the unique factors surrounding its production and collector appeal. Despite being a relatively recent minting, the 2023 D nickel has already become the subject of intense attention among collectors, primarily because of its limited mintage numbers and some rare minting variations that have appeared. In today's coin market, rarity is king, and a coin from 2023 is no exception when produced under special conditions or with anomalies. Some of these variations include slight differences in the placement of the mint mark, small die cracks, or even double dies that add an extra layer of intrigue and value. One of the most important aspects that can turn a common coin into a collector's treasure is its condition. While many 2023 D nickels are circulating in wallets and cash registers, those that have been preserved with care, remaining crisp, shiny, and free from any blemishes, are incredibly scarce. These coins, often described as being in mint state condition, offer the sharpest details on Jefferson's profile and Monticello's architectural lines. Collectors prize these near-perfect specimens because they represent a snapshot of the coin's original form fresh from the mint. Additionally, professional coin grading services play a huge role in the collectible value of the 2023 D nickel. Coins that earn a high grade from reputable graders are considered more trustworthy and appealing to buyers, which can drive up prices significantly. The grading process assesses every detail, from luster to surface quality, making it easier to identify the most desirable pieces in the market. Beyond condition and grading, the story of the 2023 D nickel is also about timing. As the coin is still relatively new, many collectors believe its value will appreciate over time, especially for those rare variants or coins in pristine condition. Collecting recent coins with limited availability has become an exciting trend among numismatists who see these pieces as smart investments for the future. Now, let's talk numbers, the big reveal that many of you have been waiting for. A 2023 D United States 5 cents coin, especially one that is in flawless mint condition or features rare mint errors, can be worth an impressive $18,000. That's right, $18,000 for a nickel that you might find in your change but could hold a remarkable value if it meets the right criteria. This coin beautifully illustrates how modern coin collecting is evolving, where even the newest issues can become highly valuable treasures with time, rarity, and the right circumstances. So, if you happen to come across a 2023 D nickel that looks untouched or shows unusual features, it might be worth a closer look. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the 2023 D United States 5 cents coin. If you're passionate about uncovering hidden gems and learning about coins that could change your fortune, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our exciting coin adventures. Until next time, happy collecting and may your finds be rewarding.